And we are back on the A show. And we have a special guest, the guest that we've been hyping up this entire episode. He is R&B singer. Man is from a great wrestling state, by the way. Kevin Owens been kind of barring y'all up, to be honest with you, on Raw from the state
Oh
of Texas,
man.
San Antonio. We've been barring y'all up. But great singer, just dropped new single, has been had amazing new projects over the last number of years. Last week I just revisited your Tiny Desk because I was on a Tiny
Oh
Desk.
man.
Like you can kind of like really binge all the Tiny Desks at
Yeah.
once.
My wife
Like
does.
I love that shit. But you have Xavier Omar on the A show. Welcome, bro. Thank you for coming through.
Thank y'all for having me. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I don't get to do my nerd talk of wrestling very often, so this is great.
Luckily, we do that every single week. So,
You
Yeah,
that ass. I mean, we're here every single week talking about this stuff, man. Like, listen, but first of all, how have you been, man? How are you are?
I'm good. Like, I had my daughter. We had our daughter 2 months ago.
congratulations.
Ooh,
Almost three now.
congrats.
Thank you. So I've just legitimately been adjusting to dad life and everything this year, like from becoming a fully independent artist again to becoming a father. It's been a lot to take in. So I'm glad we've been able to just be at home and just kind of learn and live life. Oh, excuse me. And also still have the opportunity to create a little bit. And I mean a little bit, like just every so often, like have the opportunity to create and then be comfortable enough to have moments like this where we can just, sit and have conversations and I'm not worried about the baby falling asleep and dying. And I mean, like just craziness.
That's
We've
the
gotten
new
past some
parent.
stages.
That's the new parent like trauma is like, yo,
Yeah,
like
man.
something gonna happen. I mean, but nonetheless, listen, we're here. We're here to promote. Obviously, there's a new single that you dropped. You dropped a
Yeah,
new single a couple days ago called "Feelings for You." I love
yeah.
it. I think a lot of fans. Actually, we have a lot of fans. So we have an A Show network. So it's not even
Mhm.
just us doing this podcast. It's a ton of other casts doing this podcast as well.
Yeah.
We got people on the War Report. We got another show called the Rewriters Room. We got our social media manager, entire black hub of black wrestling fans doing this damn thing. And a lot of people on our network are fans of yours, man. Like to be honest, and I remember the first song I heard from you was "Afraid."
Yeah.
Um, the Red Bull, collaboration and stuff like that. Shout out to Justin, also worked at Red Bull at some
Right
point.
there as well. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
um, but yeah, and then it's just kind of been rolling from there. I mean, the collaborations with Sango, the album that dropped in 2020, If You Feel,
Yeah.
just amazing work, man. How did you feel about kind of getting back with Feelings for You and at least getting back and kind of like putting music back out there, especially since now you're independent and it's a grind itself.
Yeah, so that's part of why what's happened with the song has been more hurtful than I guess any other time is because you step back out independently again, you get everything together. Um, Literally, we didn't even have distribution. It's just through my business, right?
Hmm.
I'm working with these producers and people I've made relationships with over the years. We put together, I feel like a beautifully crafted record, and run into some still super vague infringement issues to where the song's not even up on streaming right now
Mm.
on any of them. Kind of just slowly fell off of each of the platforms. So we're working on number one how to resolve whatever the issue is because we feel like we have a perfect stance on at least on our part of everything that happened,
Hmm.
and we're just trying to get that solidified. But also, I've got great friends, great homies who also produce as well, and they're trying to see what's possible to do to get the record back up without causing any more problems or issues. Just maybe remaking it somehow. So just to get it back to the people, because that's my number one thing. While a lot
Right.
of fans have suggested, hey, why don't you put it on the Web3 market? It's different there. They don't own the music. They can't do this and they can't do that. But I'm like, that's cool. But then like a handful of y'all get the record and I make a lot of money, but it's not for the people anymore.
Mm.
So will I do an NFT or a couple? Like, sure. But I don't want to take away from the people what had this was for them and they've already had it and it got taken from them.
Mm.
So
Right.
it's about making that music for them. And so having that opportunity to do that on our own terms again with my team at Moon Artists, like it's though this first, bump in the road has been significant, we've done this before. We did it all the way up until 2018 when I got signed by RCA until, so we're starting back up and I'm excited. I've got more music that I want to release throughout the year as well. And yeah, we're going to get things moving, man.
Listen, man, I hope so. I heard the single. I had it. I downloaded it. All the other stuff like that. But you know what? I can't wait till it's ready. Can't wait till you can at least hear it on your Instagram. I mean, it's there,
Yeah.
so you can at least, if you want a sample of how it's gonna feel, how feelings for you make you feel. It's definitely there on the Instagram. But listen, this is not the only thing I found on this Instagram. I actually have to go in a little bit. Yo, you have a lot of bruh.
Yes, sir.
My thing about that. Sting, really? Sting, man.
Well, look, so I've never legitimately. Well, that's my second year of my life ever dressing up for Halloween. Right? So obviously the first year was last year. Me and my wife were Miles and Gwen, but I felt because of like my hair, I could pull off the Sting thing. It was either going to be like Sting or Taker or somebody, right? But I felt like with Sting, I could get close to like some realism with the costume because of the face paint and all that stuff. And it's just like I've never actually done a real close to a cosplay type of thing, and I wanted to do it. And Sting is for me. So is he like the greatest ever or anything like that? Of course not. But he's still iconic. His nickname is the Icon for a reason. So it was just it was cool to do. It's actually funny enough. It's like WWE's makeup stuff that they did. They had like some kind of deal with like a fun shop. I forget what the name of the place was. It's super cheap. It's super cheap. That whole thing was like $40, including the flappy boots.
Well, I think that you're way more athletic and healthy than Stink is.
So. He has an agenda against Stink. Don't let him Stink shame you.
Definitely different these days for him, but we it's like when we think about Taker, we think about Taker in the old days. You know what I mean?
Listen, I've wanted replica belts for so long in my life, and I don't know. Maybe listen, it's my birthday in like 2 days. Maybe I should just cop one.
That NXT belt is gleaming. So, are you a big fan of NXT? Are you feeling 2.0? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I think my feelings on 2.0 were mostly everybody's in the beginning, but I can see the vision as far as a handful of them. Now it's wrestling, so everybody's just not going to be great no matter what. Like it's just everybody's not going to translate well, or it's going to take some people some time to finally find a character that makes sense. But I'm all in on Grayson Waller, Braun Breaker. I love Toxic Attraction, excuse me. Like I don't love the Mandy Rose portion of it, but I love the two young girls that she's bringing up.
Come on, Mandy, bitch. I'm not that bitch.
Mandy, I've never connected with Mandy as a wrestler, as a character. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with her or anything bad is happening. I personally have never connected, but I see why she's a perfect vet to help those two come up in the system. Like, it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, she's been through it, and then she can lift those two up. I think that was, to me, what the idea was when it first started was you put the Kyle O'Reillys next to this guy, you put Ciampa next to this guy, you put Roddy versus Carmelo. You get all these guys ready, but now you're starting to see on the show they're getting away from that. These guys are starting to get over on their own. Melo's over on his own. Braun's over on his own. Grayson Waller is the most hated man on that show.
I love Grayson.
He's that man's totally different. He did the roll over the barricade to the stunner. I said, "Hey, man,
he got it, bro. He got it." I mean, it just is what it is, man. Like, I mean, we showed a lot of stuff like that. Actually, you know what I actually wanted to hear before we get into the big thing, wrestling talk like that. So I was listening to your podcast, actually, Exo Creative Club.
Oh, snap. I forgot I had it.
It's okay. It's okay. I was going back. Listen, J5 and I are like, we're previously journalists in a previous life. So when we do our research, so we got to listen to a ton of different things. You have a story about Normani, meeting Normani. I need to hear that story. I need to hear that story, please, because I need in terms of what happened.
It's very it's embarrassing for me personally. I I don't think it's viewed as a super embarrassing story as I tell it, but you just got to be me in the moment, right? So here we go. So I am flying into LA because I'm about to sign my deal with RCA. You know, just excited. This is like June, July 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were going to an office, but it ended up being at this like studio spot. So, you know, we go up these stairs outside, and it takes you to basically what's legitimately somebody's. It looks like they just kind of outfitted somebody's apartment and made it into studio spaces. So I'm up there. I'm not expecting anybody to be there, but Peter Edge from RCA, Tunji, who was my A&R, and maybe a couple other white people I don't know. You know, that's all I really expected. So I'm celebrating myself. I have my NXT championship. My whole thing is like, nigga, I'm next up. Like, this is me. Like, I'm about to make this happen. So I got that on me, and I'm thinking we're gonna walk right into it and get the paperwork done. But it didn't happen that way. You hear some sessions going on, and I guess they were in a meeting with somebody at the moment. So you're just kind of waiting low key in the kitchen of this like apartment setup. So we just sitting there waiting for a bit. And I just got this title over my shoulder. I'm there with my manager. We're just talking. And then out from one of the rooms comes Normani. And she's in this, like, I want to say she was in like these overalls, like short, like just thigh meat out and glistening. And I forget, I think my A&R introduces, oh, Normani, this is Xavier Normani. And I'm like, hello. Just with the title belt. Just stupid. Oh my God, just stupid. Like, imagine anybody that you find attractive or anybody that you think is a superstar, whatever, you meet them and you're there doing your nerd thing as you meet them. Yeah. It's just like, oh crap. Oh, like, this is not how you're supposed to see me at first. So yeah, it was just weird in that way. And I'm just immediately sweaty and just acting like everything's fine, acting like I'm not freaking out in my mind that I'm meeting her at that moment. Right. I don't even know what the conversation was. It was a mess.
Oh my God. No, I mean, at least she could have. Did she at least ask about the belt? Like, damn, you got the.
I don't remember. She probably did. I have no real memory of the conversation. I was too thrown off to respectfully remember anything going on.
Because I think she's even been like, she's like performed at WrestleMania, so it's not like she doesn't. She hopefully shouldn't know. Well, I don't. You know what? Actually, I don't know. People perform at various things.
Yeah, man. It's all.
They could ask me to perform at the Super Bowl, but couldn't help you. But it is. But oh my God, that's an amazing story. We should get into, because we kind of want to talk about the product that we have thus far. So Elimination Chamber is coming up on Saturday. I think it's pay-per-view. At this point, it's a Saudi pay-per-view, so it's WrestleMania before WrestleMania at this point.
Is it 9 a.m. for me on Saturday? So that's my Saturday morning cartoon.
And hopefully it's not like 5 hours like all the other ones, to be honest with you, because them pay-per-views be long as hell. Have you ever gone to a WrestleMania, Xavier?
I got to go to my first one. It was really cool. So I kind of somewhat grew up in the DC area. I spent like 4 years out there. So I like kind of idolized Wale for quite a while. And just through working and through RCA and Tunji, I eventually had the opportunity to make some records with him. And through that, we had a friendship where we formed a friendship. And obviously he's a big wrestling fan. So that comes up and he's like, hey, I'm doing Wale Mania. You know, obviously I'm going to be at WrestleMania. You slide out and I'll take care of you. So I didn't get to go to Wale Mania, but I made it the day after. And he took me to my first WrestleMania. That was at MetLife 35. So
wow, we were at the same Wale Mania.
Yeah.
Oh no, you just missed Wale Mania. It was the same WrestleMania thing. Oh, that's cool.
I missed Wale Mania by a day, but went ahead and I made WrestleMania. It was very, very cool. I was second row as Kofi won the championship. Like, or was I first? I might have been first row. I don't even remember. First or second row. There's a small, very quick clip of me on the network when they're saluting the troops. Very quickly, you see me. So that was like a really fun moment. But I'm going again this year. This time, me and my I don't even know how to say this. It's my wife's brother-in-law. I don't know if that makes him my brother-in-law. I don't know how this
That
works.
would make him your brother-in-law. Yes,
it does. Okay, cool. So my brother-in-law, we are going to WrestleMania in Dallas. He lives in Dallas, and I'm 4 hours away. So we're going to both nights.
Damn. All right, Justin. Justin, maybe you should inform him about your deal of when Wale took you to a wrestling show and what happened.
I got fired.
Oh my gosh. What?
Long story.
It's a long story. He was somewhere where he shouldn't have been, but now he's where he's supposed to be.
I absolutely should have been there. I called out, but whatever. It's cool. It's cool. But we got Elimination Chamber emanating live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Hey man, this show looks stacked. Okay, this show looks pretty fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
This is gonna be our last show, I believe, before WrestleMania. So we get like a good 6 or so weeks before we get to WrestleMania. Actually, no, I think it's a little bit less than that, or is it? Because we got March, and then for about 5 weeks.
Yeah, about 5 weeks or so. Yeah, we got a couple weeks before we hit WrestleMania.
Yeah, before we get to WrestleMania, and what we do in these prediction shows, Xavier. So what we do is we talk about the match. We give our predictions and we give why we think this is going to happen. So these get kind of contentious sometimes between me and Meelz. So if you can take a side, probably mine, hopefully mine. That's cool. If you want to stay neutral, that's fine too. You can be the middleman. That's cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with the first match here. This was just announced last night on Raw. I don't know if you guys saw Meelz. What you think about Raw last night before we start?
It was a lot they packed in for sci-fi.
Yes.
Like they were like, because I just remember I wasn't even paying attention, to be honest with you, and then I saw, wow, we're getting Bianca versus Rhea Ripley for free.
Yeah.
For like 20 minutes, and I was like, holy shit, okay.
Great fucking match too. Great fucking match.
Yeah, it was a great match, man. Like it was good. There's a lot of good stuff on Raw last night.
Yeah, it was a good show. The opening segment, I thought, again, after listening to that Brock Lesnar interview, and Xavier, if you haven't heard the Brock Lesnar Pat McAfee interview, as soon as we're done here, go check that shit out. It's like the most candid you've ever heard him. But like listening to that and seeing him on the show last night, I was like, I get it. I get this character now. This is him. This is who he is all the time now. So like that was an awesome segment. But this was just announced last night. Rey Mysterio versus The Miz. This is the WWE 2K match. This is you're on the cover.
Wait. This is
your program.
They announced that for Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Matches.
Okay.
Hey,
listen,
something. He's got to do something. He got to get his paycheck. And 2K is probably footing the bill for a lot of this stuff right now because he's in the game.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know how you're gonna feel about this, but I'm a Miz mark. I am a guy who loves the Miz.
Miz is going to the Hall of Fame. Like,
there we go. See,
I love Miz, but it's just,
Thank you. Let's go.
It's just not a big event match. That's Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I completely agree with you.
That's all.
It felt like they needed a fill time. There was like, the Saudi Prince said, "Listen, we need Rey Mysterio there at some capacity. Let's get
Can he pop up from the sky? Can we do that?"
All right, so Rey Mysterio versus The Miz. I'm assuming Rey Mysterio wins this. I'm just assuming because he's on the cover of 2K. You get the 2K push.
He's got to win. I think the same thing. He's got to win this just because obviously he's on the cover, but this has to further the storyline of Miz trying to cheat and win. And I think that's the whole thing, is that like this whole thing about cheating. I don't know what this cheat thing is about, but that's the big thing here. I'm imagining that this is going to lead to a Dominic breakout moment, I would assume, in the next couple of weeks. But I think it'll be fine. Like Miz has been, to me, fine to really good since he came back, and I think this will be no different. What do you think, Xavier?
We know that Rey is looking toward the end of his career. Obviously, you put that on top of the cover for the game, and how he's been really outwardly spoken about Dominic being able to do things and break out on his own. And I mean, they want a match. I don't know that it'll happen in Bad Blood, but I agree with you, Justin, in the sense that this has to, in some way, all of this has to tie into what's going to happen with Dominic and Rey at some point. It would be a bit of a rush into Mania, even though there is still that 6 weeks to really make it hot.
Right.
But something I think WWE has run into a problem sometimes trying to take stories from SummerSlam to Mania. So if you can just make it work in a 6 week time, then we'll see about it. But Ray's gonna win the match for sure.
Yeah.
But it needs to come with something Dominic based, or like maybe the next Raw or something Dominic based. It has to happen, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, if you're gonna do this, is gonna be the biggest show ever. Potentially Cody coming back, potentially Stone Cold coming back, maybe. That's a big time match too for one of those nights. Ray versus Dominic. Next match. Let's get all the shit out the way, bullshit out the way. Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss.
Yo, this is happening again.
Happening in Elimination Chamber, yes. No holds barred match. Listen,
Madcap for real, because
I'm so done, nigga. I'm so done with this nigga, Madcap Moss. Of all the people, he has survived so many cuts. There has been a lot of niggas that got cut, and he's like over 100 niggas. He was one of the people that got to stay. I don't see it. It's a corny thing. I think any character for him I wouldn't like. Drew, I feel bad for Drew. I pray for this man, fan of the show, guest of the show. Drew's gonna win this, but by God, let this only last for about 6 minutes, please.
My man Drew had to win the championship in an empty gym.
Yeah.
Give him something, show some little more respect for these big shows, man. You got to do something. Like, I know he's going to pull out a banger nonetheless, because Drew, I think he's someone who is very, he don't take no days off. No. He essentially, like, everything he puts his effort to. We talked to him before on the A show, like, everything he puts his effort to, no matter what, whether it's a match versus Bobby Lashley or it's a match versus Oney Lorcan, he's going to put his all into it. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming this match was going to be the same, but I don't want it.
Yeah, not at all.
I don't want it. Drew's gonna win. I mean, it is what it is. We can. What do you think, Xavier?
The best I've seen of Madcap Moss is in his match with Drew, so I'm gonna give Drew that for sure. That he could elevate the competition, but the character just there's no reason to give the character the win, especially in this spot. It's just you're basically throwing him out there, say, "Hey, kid, go out there and get better."
Right.
And Drew's going to do his thing. So Drew wins easily.
Yeah, easily. Please Claymore him out the company, please.
Yeah.
Next match, the Usos versus the Viking Raiders for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. This was like the first match that was actually announced for this show. So they didn't really need to build it that much. I think we know it's going to be a banger. My only question is that do we really need the Usos to hold these titles for much longer? I think that there aren't a lot of tag teams, so that there's a lot of juice in having this program go back and forth for a while, because there aren't really any tag teams on SmackDown. The Usos are really it, and the Vikings. So I'm going to be controversial here and say that they don't win this, but they do win it down the line. I think they do win it before Mania, or at Mania at least.
I mean, I don't think the Viking Raiders. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I feel like the trajectory isn't for right now, especially kind of how it's built. This feud has kind of been like very like thrown in the background kind of thing. So I don't think they're building up to this right now, but could definitely be in the future. But then I also see them like doing this like multi-tag match at WrestleMania anyway to get everybody on the card.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna assume that the Usos win. To be honest with you, I could go without. I think. Yeah, I'm just gonna say the Usos win.
I mean, what do you think? It's gonna be good. They know it's gonna be good. I don't think Vikings lose anything for losing. I think, to me, I pop a rating on SmackDown and I'm winning on TV.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. What do you think, Xavier?
I thought that if the Usos were going to lose the titles, they were going to do it at the Rumble, because that to me was a perfect mix-up spot for all the bloodlines to kind of fall apart and still find a way to scramble back to the title either by now or at Mania.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense. Just it would be dumb, I think, to just take it off of them just for the heck of it. So I see them continuing to dominate and having the whole bloodline we the ones thing going on. So Usos, but a great match. There's no reason it shouldn't be a great match.
Absolutely. I think it should open the show, to be honest.
Yeah. Have you been to a live show since the pandemic started?
I went to the first one back in Houston.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That was big.
That was an emotional show. I think that to me was one of the best. Was it a SmackDown? Was the first one back? Was it? Yeah.
SmackDown. I took my nephews. They're big wrestling fans as well, and yeah, man, it was just energy in that building. It was really great.
It was an emotional night. I think that everyone was like, "Yeah, we missed this." Like this was like it was by and large like the timeline usually split. All together, everyone was positive on that episode just because of the way the fans were. They were super loud and hot that night, and it's continued. Like that's one thing I can say. Aside from a couple of weeks, the fans have been hot every single week ever since they've come back. And like New Orleans last week, I was like, yo, they're treating this shit like it's Mania right now. Even like some of the bullshit segments on Raw, like they was like, fuck it, like this, or no, it was SmackDown. They were like, fuck it, this is hard. Like they loved everything.
Because for most cities, it's still a lot of most cities like first chance getting them back. Like it hasn't been a full year since they've been back yet, not quite. So like a lot of people are still just like, dang, like we finally get WWE back in our city.
Yeah,
so it's been really cool to see that energy.
Next match, this was announced on Friday, but it's going to be Ronda Rousey and Naomi versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville in a tag team match. I thought this was actually built kind of smartly. I think that this is a way to get Naomi on TV. It's a way to give Naomi a rub too. I know a lot of people are upset, but you know, Sasha Banks fans are never actually happy about anything. So like they're like, why wasn't it Sasha? I'm like, well, tell her to come to work. Like it could have been her, but Naomi, I can't be mad at Naomi getting the rub here. And I think as Ronda comes back and is getting her reps back, I think she's getting better every single week. And I think this is just another way to get, put her in a tag match where she doesn't have to work primarily the whole thing. Cause I think she's going to go dirty with Charlotte in Dallas. So this is a good way to get her back in the groove of things. But I think that Naomi and Ronda are going to win this one.
No, I can see it. I mean, to be honest with you, so I got to give props as we're doing this thing, because if we have not seen Naomi and Charlotte's match on SmackDown last week, wow. Like, wow. To me, this is like as capable as they probably believe that anyone thought this match could be. I think it was Naomi's best match. It's one of Charlotte's best matches since probably at some point last year, because she always kind of has bangers. But that match was incredible, and now that they're kind of spinning off into this match, I mean, it's cool. I guess we're getting the Naomi Sonya Deville thing all the way up to WrestleMania. I still don't know why Sonya Deville hates her, but
True.
I think we all know. No, I'm kidding. But nonetheless, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a bang of a match. I'm expecting Ronda Rousey and Naomi to win, because why would you have Ronda lose?
You can't.
Here is why you would have Ronda lose, because Ronda's not going to get pinned. Naomi's going to get pinned, and you need the heat for Charlotte and Sonya, both of them, because Sonya needs to pick it back up after she, Naomi's been kind of getting her way with her. Charlotte needs it to feel like, she really is this dominant queen, and Ronda has to overcome her type of thing. So to me, it makes the most sense for Charlotte and Sonya to get that win, just so that both of the high baby faces can go back into making it really, really feel like they have to be the ones that overcome at the next big event. Because just doing so on weekly television, that's cool and everything, but it's the big event where you really hold all that, hold all the victories over people's heads.
Yeah.
So that's why, to me, it would make sense for Charlotte and Sonya to get that W.
You can also play the story of does Ronda still have it after being gone for so long, after having a baby and stuff like that? Does she still have it? Can she still hang with Charlotte?
I mean, she got it. She beat 29 other women at this point, baby. Like she got something, because she is definitely on the way to WrestleMania.
The championship level, though, that's the thing that Charlotte could play off of. Like, cool, you could do all that, but are you gonna be up here with me? And I mean, honestly, I think the Charlotte hype is more about her character than it is like how she's not bad, obviously, but to me, she's not this ultra great wrestler. I personally don't feel that way. Like, I can count a botch in every last one of her great matches, including this past weekend with Naomi. Like, Naomi went for the kick and she didn't even get into it. She just kind of like let that sweep past her face. Oh, Like, oh my, every match, Charlotte. Anyway,
Can't mess up. This is the moneymaker. You can't mess that up. You can't mess that up. She's serious about it.
But even in all of that, I understand like how she's able to elevate and make things work really well. And she's best if she's able to gloat on that, not so much like she has to prove herself again. If she's gloating, then that's the best that the queen character can be. So that's why I take that stance.
Yeah. Next match. I'm gonna save the Elimination Chambers for last. Becky Lynch versus Lita for the Raw Women's Championship for a match that's had about 2.5 weeks of build. I think that what Becky did last night, Becky puts her all in these feuds. Like every single feud, she's doing something different. She's a different character, a different wrinkle to her heel gimmick. But I would say Lita is the only one that's gotten her consistent boos since she's come back. Like Lita, like even with Bianca, she was still kind of getting cheers until she would diss the city. Lita is the only one that she's consistently gotten boos against, and last night was no different. Like she came out dressed as Lita, depressed, all like grungy and shit. I thought it was fucking hilarious. I'm Becky has a lot of work to do with Lita because I saw what she looked like at Royal Rumble, but I think that she'll try and make this work. But I see, of course, Becky Lynch once again retaining her title. What do you think, Xavier?
Lita is not in a good athletic space right now, even though that moonsault is still beautiful.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, now you don't got nothing else, but that is fire. So that moonsault still that thing's still hitting, but it could be a clunky situation. But just as you said, Becky really is putting her all into this, and she's harping on the fact that this is somebody she looked up to, and that makes me care about really seeing it actually happen more than I care about like the fact that the characters are facing off against each other. It's just like, oh, this happening for Rebecca Quinn is really cool. So that makes me care about seeing the match and making it happen. Becky's gonna win. There's no reason Lita should be champion going into WrestleMania.
Does this lead to a longer Lita run? Do you think that she ends up at WrestleMania as well doing her own thing? Because she said, I'm not here for just one match. I'm here for a run. And I think WWE probably signed her for multiple matches.
Yeah, I'm sure they did, but I don't know what you do with her at Mania.
Hey, call Trish. Let's run it back.
Right. Let them tag or something. But Trish already technically retired, I guess. So
ain't no retiring in wrestling.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is in talks to come back. Ain't nobody retiring. The bag. WWE made $1 billion last year. They got the money to get anybody they fucking want.
They must be looking at that, looking at the sales or something, saying, "All right, we need to do something here for Texas." So
yeah. Well, it's 90% sold out.
Okay.
What reports are saying. So
for both nights.
For both nights, yeah.
Okay.
I ain't know that. Cop a ticket. Something.
I mean, first Mania back, like in that area, I think Stone Cold's gonna push it over to sold out. Yeah, I think it's a done deal. I think it's a done deal even before that, even with just walk ups. Next match: Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. Over under on how long this fucking match lasts.
All right, so Roman got to get his he might be able to get a little bit of thespian in him, a little bit of acting.
I told you better than
who's next? I'm next. Some shit like that. He's gonna get all his, he's gonna get his bag with everything that he does. I don't see this match. This is what we've been doing for every Goldberg match, by the way, Xavier. It's less of who's gonna win and it's more how long do we think it's gonna take. I'm saying, well, first of all, I think Roman's gonna win, obviously, but also I'm saying this match does not go over about 6 minutes.
Wow.
I'm saying it doesn't go over 6 minutes, even though I think Goldberg. This is supposed to be like the last match on his contract, but I think we've said that he's re-upped possibly.
Yeah.
So who knows where this goes? I want Roman to win, and to be honest with you, I know there's been a lot of discourse online about Big E. I want Big E versus Goldberg at WrestleMania. I just want it. I don't want you. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to think on it too much. Big E versus Goldberg. Big meaty men slapping meat, all types of stuff like that.
Yes.
That's all we need.
Yes.
Xavier, what do you think about this match?
I'm gonna go. It's gonna go at least 10 minutes. So remember, Bobby Lashley gave Goldberg his best match since he's been back. And Bobby Lashley isn't
better than the Brock match, you thought?
Which Brock match?
The one in Survivor Series. That shit was fire. Or the one at Mania was good too.
I say the 3-second one?
The one at Mania, actually. The one at Mania to me was one of Goldberg's best matches.
Wait, which? Okay, I forget.
The one at Mania, I think it was 30.
It was 34.
Yeah, it's 34. It's 34. Where they kind of like it was like a 6-minute sprint.
Okay, so maybe that's exciting, but no, I think like you made Goldberg have a wrestling match. I think Bobby Lashley gave him the best one, and he made Goldberg like overcome instead of just straight up dominate. And I think they're going to stick to something similar there, even though Goldberg won't overcome. So Roman's kind of got to get his gloating in. It's just going to happen. He's methodical. He takes his time. It'll be I think what's possible is maybe it starts off as a sprint because Goldberg knocks Roman off of like his pedestal for a little bit there, gets him really scared. He somehow kicks out, rolls out the ring to like kind of just like regroup. But eventually he's able to kind of get in his groove and in his way, takes his little bit of methodical time before you get another like babyface kind of comeback situation happening. But whether it's tricking the referee or something, the bloodline's going to come into this and make it happen so that Roman gets another tricky win. I don't know how they pull Goldberg out of that and get him focused off of Roman. But I also don't know how they just allow Roman to cleanly beat him either. Yeah, like you need something. Bobby Lashley was able to use the knee thing the first time around. Yeah. But there was no way to pull Goldberg out off of that, so you got to have another one with him. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know how they do it, but I know Roman has to win because it's for the championship. Yeah. And I know that he can't do it clean, because you need Goldberg to still feel like a big deal for whatever you use him on next. Right. So
and they got to do this match before Brock goes into the chamber too. Like this can't end the show, because then it'd be like, well, why won't Brock just come out? You know what I'm saying? So there has to be something there. My thought was that he chokes him out, because it's never happened.
It never happened. Yeah.
We're setting up for the series finale of Roman versus Brock. These are two, like they're on a collision course. There's nothing that's going to stop this. So like, I'm actually of the thought that you want to have him beat Goldberg as strong as possible. But like you said, if he is coming back at WrestleMania and he's going to face somebody, biggest show in the world, you got to kind of have him lose, not cleanly, but give him somebody else to look forward to, just to kind of make up for that, if it is Big E or Drew again or somebody. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know. The thing is, whenever we try to predict Roman stuff, we can never predict it. Every time we've gone right, they've gone left with him. So like we don't really know. Like there have been a time when me and Meelz were just so sure that he was going to lose the title, and he didn't. Like the Demon thing was like, we had no clue that they were going to do that shit. That was the most perplexing thing I'd ever seen in my fucking life, was what they did in that match. But that's how they chose to wrap it up. So
yeah, the Demon had to. It sucks that they had to use the Demon for that, but he was going to lose. I don't know how you have to see that.
Yeah,
he was going to lose.
Well, they made him lose in the wildest way.
Yeah,
they tried to keep him safe, but yeah, he's going to lose.
Let's get to the chambers really quick so we can wrap this up. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair versus Doudrop versus Nikki ASH versus Alexa fucking Bliss, returning for the Elimination Chamber for the Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania 38. A lot of people here on this. There's only one outcome to me. There's only ever been one outcome to me here. There's only one person that has to come out here. I don't give a shit if Alexa's coming back and she got 5 finishers stocked like it's 2K. It don't matter. We know how this ends. She's coming in last, and she's gonna beat everybody to win the match. I'm putting it all in on Bianca Belair. I'm putting it all in on Bianca Belair. She's beaten Liv, she's beaten Rhea, she's beaten Doudrop, she's beaten Nikki ASH. Only person she hasn't pinned, I think, is Alexa. Everyone seems to think that WWE's trying to swerve us. This is the most simple booking they've done since Seth winning the Rumble, since Drew winning the Rumble. Why would you see anything else here? What do you think, Meelz?
Bianca better win. That's all. That's all. I mean, Bianca Belair. I think just the way she's been pushed so hard. Now, I get why people think that she may not. I think we're all children of the Attitude Era. If someone wins before the pay-per-view, that means they're gonna lose at the pay-per-view. I feel like that's always happened with people, but I think we're in a different time. If they have not added real doubt to Bianca Belair, which is the only thing in my mind that kind of like is like, like if they could be putting her over strong to put someone else over strong. So that's the only thing that's tweaking in my mind. But I really want to say Bianca Belair is going to win this one and take it to WrestleMania. And then my runner-up would probably be Rhea Ripley because she's a badass as well. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be Bianca.
I don't see the way Vince is going to swerve money, and
that's a bar.
you can't swerve money right now for Mania.
Yeah,
you have to give a full. I know they had a match, but it didn't settle everything.
It didn't end clean. She's never beaten Bianca clean ever.
It didn't settle everything. So this is the time. Becky has never actually lost the title. So you got to get her. She's got to lose it, and you got to talk about and think about. I'm about to say your future. Like, what is Bianca? She's like maybe 2 years younger than Becky, but like as far as the brand goes, like you really, really got to think about the future of the company in that manner. Which I think you go Bianca over at Elimination Chamber, Bianca over at WrestleMania, and eventually. Once you kind of get her ready again, you got to do the same thing with Rhea. Like, she has to be.
That's the feud after this is over with. To me, that's what when this into SummerSlam, because look at the accolades that Bianca's got: Royal Rumble winner, WrestleMania main event, Soul Survivor Series, Elimination Chamber. That's how this is how they did it with Charlotte. That's why I don't see how people don't get it. And it's like I know people get really like touchy when it's like a black talent. But I don't think that they've ever given me any pause to be like, they're not going to do right by her because she has not lost since she lost to Becky. Like they don't pin her. She's not made to look stupid. She's not made to be in dumbass segments. They don't do half of the shit that they do to other people on the show. She's booked to the level of what Charlotte will be booked on SmackDown. Like as in terms of always winning. It's just that now she had to create her character and get over without the belt, which she did.
Yeah.
Why don't you just, you know what I'm saying? Like that, she's done it. Let her do it again at WrestleMania. That's the story. That's the finale of her and Becky.
I don't know who Becky's gonna be without the belt. I'll say that much.
Okay.
But we know who Bianca is without it, and we know who she is with it.
That's true.
So it's just time to pull that trigger. I don't see a swerve happening. If anything, Alexa Bliss being in the chamber is kind of maybe there's something going on in that match that ends up for her in Mania. She's got, I mean, hopefully it's nothing with Nikki ASH. But you know, that was her last tag partner, and you got like the Nikki Alexa Rhea thing going on or whatever. But I don't know, maybe something from the match is why Alexa is in the match, like that goes into Mania.
I'm just hoping they got something for Doudrop because she's put in a lot of fucking work this year.
I love Piper.
Love her, man. She's great. I just hope there's something for her this year, if not now. But she gets it. She understood it. She knew the assignment. She ain't fucking complain about it. So like I fucks with her. Last match here for the WWE Championship: Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar versus Seth freaking Rollins versus Austin Theory versus Riddle versus AJ Styles. I said this a couple weeks ago. This is probably one of the best Elimination Chamber lineups they've ever done ever in history.
Yeah.
But it's all going to end the same way, baby. Brock Lesnar is getting that belt back. It's the series finale of Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. We might not ever see it again.
So are we under the thing that we're anticipating they're going for title versus title?
Yes.
Winner takes it all. At the most stupendous WrestleMania of all time.
It's in the name. It's in the name. You can't go bigger than that. You can't go bigger than that. It's the finale of this. Like it is I think the last match they need to have, because you can't go bigger than this. You know what I'm saying? It's both titles on the line. we'll get to that prediction when we get to it. But somebody's walking out of there with 2. And then that's gonna shape what this company is gonna be like. They're gonna divvy it out that way. But in terms of this match, there's several ways you could break this down. I mean, AJ is someone who feels as though he needs to be on the card. Seth might have his own thing to do after this is over with. Riddle and Randy might have their own thing that they're doing. There's so many things that when I look at this card and the people in this match, they could do other stuff. And I think Brock is the only legitimate option here. Is it because my runner-up would probably be Riddle at this point?
You saying there's a different roads for Seth Rollins? Is that what you're saying?
Different roads to WrestleMania for him.
Oh, okay. All right. Listen, process of elimination. Austin Theory is my least pick for this thing. See, the thing is that in another year, in another universe, it might be Riddle, but it's just not right now. I mean, when you have so much on the line, pretty much for WrestleMania, this is WrestleMania season. All the guns are out, all the money is put on the table. Everything is gonna go. They're going Brock Lesnar. I'm almost sure of it. Yeah, that's what I got.
Mm-hmm.
So my first thought looking at this card, when people talk about how there aren't any stars in the company, I'm just like, whoa, this match has all of them.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Now they don't all maximize outside the company. I will say that. So everybody's not on night talk shows and doing movies and endorsements and stuff like that. But you talk about big stars within WWE, the most of them are in this match. And it's just so star-studded. It's amazing to me. You're right. A lot of people have something they could do after this. So AJ can go to Edge. Seth can go, if this Cody Rhodes thing is happening,
that's
you
it.
Do that. Or there might be another road for him.
Damien.
Yeah. But if there's not another path for him, like say the Cody Rhodes thing doesn't happen, then to me, I think WWE kind of underestimated just how hot him and Roman's feud was.
Yes.
Like, whoa, for that short time, the mind games he played and the fact that he is the Beast Slayer. He's trying to do, not that Roman's never done it, but I feel like I don't think Brock's ever beat Seth one-on-one. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think he has. And then on top of that, you got Roman.
He cashed in on him, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But then you got Roman, who's never beat Seth one-on-one for the championship, including at Royal Rumble, where he had to cheat to keep the title. Seth is the technical and official winner of that match. So I know they're not going to do it because they're very focused in on Brock and Roman. But man, that would be the other place to go if you were going to go somewhere else, is to allow Seth to win this. And he could kind of sneak his way into their match if he really wanted to.
Yeah, and there's history there. There's history there too with those three.
But Vince is dead set. So we know what's happening. We know Brock's winning. Because I think even if Bobby Lashley were to retain, there's nothing really for him at Mania. Yeah, and that's part of why you got to take the title off of them, because they don't know what to do. Yeah. So it goes back to Brock. They got in trouble anyway with the Royal Rumble because the people that win those matches have to main event WrestleMania. Yep. That is the thing.
Yeah.
So if he's going to main event, might as well just go all in with all the titles and all that stuff.
His tickets already punched to WrestleMania anyway. Yeah. He's playing with house money. And I think that's the best part about it too, is that he wants this to happen. He's pushing this issue. And that's what I like about the story, is that he's pushing for this and it happens. And he makes it the biggest gamble that he's ever done. So I love that aspect of the Roman Brock stuff. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, them again. This is decidedly different. It's decidedly different than it was last time. And all those other times, yes. But I think that Roman's in a different space to where he's going to be like, nah, fuck off. I want to do it this way. Brock is in a space where he's like, I'm about making this money. Let's do it this way. And if those two are like, they're linked up like that, this is decidedly different already, because the old man don't got shit to do with it other than saying yes or no. So like, I think this match is going to be a banger. I'm ready for them to just go ahead and get us into this, because I'm ready to see what happens after this. Because
it's all about the head of the table and being truly the head of the table. And so if you're that, you have to be the undisputed champion. And so that's where we're going. And it builds that character up even more. But it could be short sighted if you don't have your next star ready to go.
Yep.
So and right now they don't.
Yeah. They're getting Cody. They got Riddle. You know, we'll see what they do. But
you're muted, Meelz.
Oh, I'm OD muted. No, I said if they do the double championship thing and they have Roman win both of them, that's an easy way to get Seth back in a program and figure something out all after WrestleMania. Because he'll have you'll have the championship that's on Raw and stuff like that. He can do all that other stuff like that. So that's definitely an avenue for sure.
Yeah, I'm not 100% so that they have a real believable someone to take down Roman after he takes these titles. Because Cody's not going to do it simply because no matter what, he still is the guy from another company.
One way they can do it is the way they did it with Becky and have Roman do 2 matches in one night. That's the only realistic way. And against 2 heavy hitters, maybe he has Brock and Seth one night and he can't overcome both. That's the only way I see this guy losing is facing 2 top tier talents at the same night, because it's going to be down the line for him to lose the Universal. This is a Hulk Hogan run, Andre fucking Bruno run that he's on, but we'll see. But Elimination Chamber should be a banger. Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. It's going to be a fun ass show.
Yeah,
absolutely. Xavier, thank you for coming through, man, and predicting all this stuff with us and talking wrestling with us for the last hour. This has been incredible, bro.
Man, thank y'all. This has been a whole lot of fun. It's super cool.
Oh man, and especially being he had a dip. I'm sure he had a dip out because he has to. But yeah, man, listen, everyone can go. You have a ton of amazing albums on deck that they can go and listen to. If you want to do what I did, also revisit the Tiny Desk because it's incredible. You guys do amazing work on there. Thank you guys for tuning into the A Show this week. We will be back, next week with a whole bunch of things. Xavier Omär, where can they find you? Where can they follow you?
At XVR Omar on everything. So XVR OMAR on Twitter, Instagram, whatever else has an @ I'm there. So yeah, you can find it there. The music is Xavier Omär, of course. Just go ahead and put that in any search engine on any DSP and my music will be up. My latest project is called If You Feel. Hopefully you enjoy that. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Absolutely. And make sure you follow the A Show at the A Show RNC on Twitter and follow myself at Meelz TV. Follow Justin at OG Johnny 5. And we will see you guys next week on the A Show. Take care.